everybody! I'm here today with a driving lesson for parking a car downhill or uphill with or without a curb. In this video, I'll be going over the basics of parking your car, whether it's downhill or uphill, whether it has a curb or does not have a curb. Let's get right into the video driving tutorial. All right, so first and foremost, I'm going to go over the basics of parking the car. Then I'm going to talk about which direction to turn the steering wheel in each of those situations. Let's get right into it. I'm going to put the car in drive, signaling to the left. We're going to move away from the curb. This is a side street that has like no traffic. So basically, when you're ready to park the car, you want to signal right, check your rear view mirror, check your right side mirror, check your right blind spot, steer towards the curb when it's safe to do so, apply the brakes, straighten out the wheel so that you're nice and in line with the curb, come to a complete stop. Okay, now that's the basic part, that's pulling over safely basically. Now when you're ready to actually figure out which way to turn the wheel, this is what you're gonna do. Okay, now I should say this, some people like to put the car in park and deal with the emergency brake first and then turn the wheel. Other people like to turn the wheel first, then put it in park and deal with the emergency brake. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, just so I don't roll around as I'm making this video, is I'm gonna put it in park and set the emergency brake right now. And now we're gonna deal with what to do with the wheel. So there are 4 situations that you can be in, okay? Basically, you can be downhill without a curb, downhill with a curb, uphill without a curb, uphill with a curb. Very simple. Downhill or uphill with or without a curb. So let's go over each of those situations, and I'm going to tell you why you need to turn your steering wheel in each direction. Let's start off with downhill with a curb. So basically, if I'm facing downhill with a curb, I'm facing downhill, and that means that if something happens, my car is going to roll forward, okay? So I'm going to take my steering wheel, and I'm going to turn it towards the curb, okay? I'm going to turn it towards the curb, which is on my right side, all the way towards the curb, just like that. Now, if the parking brake fails and my car starts rolling forward down the hill, guess what? Because I'm facing the curb with my wheels, they're pointed towards the curb, I'm going to just roll into the curb. My car should come to a stop, okay? Now, let's straighten the wheels out again. The other situation is downhill without a curb. So if I'm facing downhill and there is no curb, what you want to do is still take your wheels and point them towards the side of the road that's closest to where you're parked, where you're pulled over, okay? So I'm facing my wheels towards the right again, because if my parking brake fails and my car rolls forward because I'm facing downhill, well, guess what's going to happen? My car's going to roll onto the side of the road. There's no curb. It's just going to roll onto the side of the road, which is probably, not the safest thing. It's better for my parking brake to just work, but it's better for your car to roll on the side of the road than it is to roll into traffic. That's what it comes down to. It's basically the better of the worst case scenarios, okay? So that's downhill with a curb and without a curb. Now we're going to do uphill with a curb, okay? So if I'm facing uphill, okay, and something happens with my parking brake, my car's going to roll backwards. I'm facing uphill, my car's going to roll backwards. I feel like I'm going to break the seat if I do this a few more times, okay? So my car's going to roll backwards. So if my parking brake fails, what I want to do is I want to get those front wheels to lock into that curb. So we're uphill with a curb right now. Take your wheels, turn them away from the curb. The curb is on my right. I'm turning them to the left over here. Now what happens is, if my parking brake fails and my car rolls backwards, the front end of my car is going to swing out towards the curb. And what's going to happen is this. Let's say this is my wheel. This is the curb. My wheel is going to hit the curb and it's going to stop. It's going to lock it in place, okay? If you're in a bad scenario where your parking brake fails. Let's straighten out the wheels one more time. Now the last situation is uphill without a curb. For uphill without a curb, what you want to do is take your wheels and you want to actually turn the wheels. Sorry about that. I have my notes down here. I'm just looking at my notes to make sure I'm saying everything right. Uphill without a curb is I'm taking my wheels and I'm turning my wheels towards the side of the road, okay? I don't want to make a mistake. And I'll explain why. If I take my wheels and I turn them towards the side of the road, which is the right side in this case, and something happens and my car rolls backwards, the back of my car is going to go off the road. Okay, if my wheels are turned to the right, because the side of the road is on my right side, my car is going to roll to the right off of the road. Once again, it's safer to roll off of the road than into traffic. Okay, now the only thing that you need to know in addition to those 4 factors and the way to turn the wheel and how to pull over to the side and stuff, is that in some places you're going to be required, before you put it in park, you're going to be required to put the car in neutral and just let it roll back with the wheels turned, you know, one way or the other. Let it roll back to lock onto the curb. So let's say I'm downhill with a curb. So I'm downhill with the curb. My car's going to roll forward. I've turned my wheels towards the curb. I would put it in neutral and let the car roll and let those wheels just lock onto the curb. In some places, that's what's going to be required, but it's not required in every place. So do a little bit of research, figure out what is required where you live, and use that as your guideline. And that's it. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great car and driving videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.